So I don't know if you guys watch videos from creators outside of the finance space or not, but Brittany and I do. We were watching one of Marquez Brownlee's videos the other day called My Tech Hot Takes. In that video, he explained his unpopular opinions when it comes to the field of technology. And I was like, that's an interesting idea. Maybe Brittany and I could do something like that for the area of finance. In our videos so far, I don't think we've labeled what we are talking about as popular or unpopular, but that's what we're going to be doing today. Brittany and I will be talking about 6 or 7 unpopular opinions that we have, our financial hot takes when it comes to the area of finance. All right, first unpopular opinion has to do with cryptocurrency, and there's kind of 2 built within this one. And this is kind of similar to something that Marquez said in his video as well. But if you were to draw a line, and on one end you have investing, and on the other end of the line you have gambling, and you have the whole gamut is in between. Investing in cryptocurrency would be much closer to the gambling side of the line than it would be the actually investing side of the line, in my opinion. Typically when you invest in something like a company like Microsoft, Apple, Google, whatever, you're investing into a company that's making money, that's selling products or services or both. They're putting something out into the world that gives value to other people. People are willing to give their money in exchange for that product or service. So the company's it's creating something into the world. In exchange for that, they get money. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't really see that happening with cryptocurrency. I don't know. I'm not talking about the technology part, the blockchain or whatever that's built on, but just the currency part. I'm kind of scratching my head about why that's so often labeled investing. It just seems like there's a lot of hype around cryptocurrency in that space and not so much solid investment fundamentals. It's just hype. That being said, I could be wrong about all that, and there may be something I'm just completely missing, which is why Brit and I have a little bit of money invested in some cryptocurrency brokerages.
It's been going bankrupt.
And that's another thing. All these cryptocurrency brokerages that have gone bankrupt. Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, Voyager Digital, which we had about $5,500 in, they went bankrupt. More recently, FTX and BlockFi. Something else regarding cryptocurrencies is going back to the hype aspect around it. I think there's a lot of hype and a lot of hope for something like Bitcoin or Ethereum eventually replacing the dollar. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't think the U.S. government is going to allow that to get anywhere close to happening. I think that would pose way too much risk to the sanctity of the dollar. Mm-hmm. And the Fed and the U.S. government they're just not going to let it happen. I think there's much more of a chance of the Fed or the government creating some sort of central bank digital currency of their own that's not Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever than any of these other cryptocurrencies gradually replacing the dollar.
So the next unpopular opinion is managed company retirement accounts, to me, feel like a scam. And let me explain. Over the past 10 plus years that I've been working, I have done retirement accounts through my companies. And apart from the company match, those managed funds that they have all had high expense ratios and did significantly worse than the S&P 500 over that 10-year time period. Basically, when Mike and I started investing on our own, we were outperforming my company retirement account.
Which wasn't very difficult to do.
Yeah.
The performance was terrible.
I was getting maybe anywhere from 2% to 6% return on my investment.
And that 2 to 6% doesn't even include the expense ratios.
Right.
So I think the expense ratios were somewhere between 0.5 and 1%.
Yeah, and over 10 years, that adds up to a lot of money that you could be using and helping to grow your retirement faster instead of having to work longer and harder. Yeah. So a company matches, they usually will say if you put in a certain percent of your paycheck into the retirement accounts they have set up, that they will match that same percentage of money into that same account, which of course is great. That's 100% return on your money. However, with all these fees and just how poorly all these funds did, it just made me not want to invest in them. After doing more research and digging, I quickly realized that the pre-chosen accounts that I was in for my retirement were heavily skewed in the favor of the fund managers and lining their pockets with the high fees instead of helping the employee retire faster and earlier. And this was extremely frustrating. And something else that happened with the companies I worked for, if you did not work for the company, say 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, however long they said that you had to work for them, you would lose your retirement benefits with them and they would take back their match. So you would keep the money that you put in from your paycheck, but you would lose the money that your company put in to match whatever they said they were going to match if you left before that time period. And this can happen a lot because you could have a spouse that gets a better paying job somewhere else, or family reasons you need to move. So that's another thing that can be really frustrating, because then you walk away severely underperforming the S&P 500 if you do not get that match.
Unpopular opinion number 3 has to do with passive income, and that is that passive income, it is not passive. It is anything but passive, at least from our experience so far.
Yeah.
Typically, this idea that comes to mind when people talk about passive income is just laying back, relaxing, propping your feet up on the couch or something on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, and you're just bringing in tons of money.
And just having money come in. The risk is only thinking about passive income that way and not thinking about everything, all the work, all the grind, all the sleepless nights, all the 12 and 14, 16-hour days that need to happen to get to that point to begin with. Like, I guarantee you the person that's getting $1,000 a day in passive income, they worked their butts off for probably years to make that happen without much of a break at all. Writing a book is a great example of this. A book doesn't write itself. You have to write it. And then you have to sell it. And so there's all this work that goes into writing it, and then there's all this work that goes into marketing. And there's money that goes into these things as well.
Also, like editing too.
Editing, copyright editing, content editing. There's graphics that need to be made. So there's all this work that is very, very front heavy. You're putting into creating something that you might be able to get passive income from if it works out. And so I think in the financial space, there's this very lopsided idea of passive income. And it could quickly lead to this idea of being able to make money without having to do anything for it. And that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
If you're going to make money, you have to be able to provide a product or a service that people are willing to pay for in exchange. And the creation of those things takes time and work and possibly money of your own. All right, next one is that buying something just because it's on sale is not saving you money at all. Here's the caveat with that, and that's only true if you weren't going to buy it in the first place. Now, if you're going to buy something, but you're just waiting for it to go on sale so you can save money, obviously,
you're going to save money.
That's saving you money. But if you're just kind of walking down the street window shopping and see something that's 50% off, oh my goodness, but you weren't going to buy that thing in the first place, then you're actually just wasting money buying it, even though it's on sale and is 50% off or whatever it is. Our next unpopular opinion is that inflation does not devalue your currency. And this one has a caveat attached to it as well. Only if you're saving your cash during periods of high inflation to buy things that are actually going down in value. A great example for today would be assets such as stocks. So the value of stocks, a lot of stocks at least, and indices such as the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, etc. While inflation has been going up so much, the value of these indices have been going way, way down. So during periods of high inflation, if you're using your money to buy things that are going up in value, that are experiencing inflation, then yeah, you're losing, the value of your currency is going down due to inflation. However, if you're using your money to buy things like stocks, you're buying those things at a discount, a heavy discount as of right now at least, and you're getting a whole lot more value for your money. And the last unpopular financial opinion that we're going to get into in this video has to do with spending. I think it is okay to spend money on nice things, sometimes very nice things, like over the top nice, if you have the money to spend on it.
Yeah.
I don't really see what the point of saving money and building wealth is unless part of what you do with that is enjoy it. Like, I get the giving part, I get the building things, the building businesses and companies to make the world a better place. At some point you gotta enjoy your money, because at the end of the day it's yours. You worked for it, you earned it.
Yeah, and this has been really hard for us to also do as well, just to sit back and sometimes enjoy our money instead of just pinching pennies every single day.
I think in society these days there's this stigma that goes with having a lot of money and using it, not only for other people, but more for yourself. There can be this idea that people don't deserve what they have.
I just think it's a lot easier to judge someone from the outside looking in when you don't know the inside of the person. And I think we have unfortunately, as a society, become very judgmental, or to react really quickly at something instead of just trying to see from that person's perspective.
If you enjoyed this video, guys, if it didn't smell too bad, there's that, what's that phrase? Like, we all have, I think it has more to do with religious and political opinions. Like, everybody has their own political opinions and they all stink, something like that.
Yeah.
But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. It helps out tremendously.
And you can subscribe for more, and you can follow us on Instagram at It's Mike and Brit. And we'll see you guys on the next video.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.